As a girly who's plus sized, sometimes it's really hard to find clothes in my style that fit me. A lot of clothing brands tend to market plus size fashion to older women, but that's not entirely my thing, being that I'm only 21. I say this all because the person I'll be dedicating this video to today has actually really helped me a lot in that aspect. Watching her videos made me realize I really shouldn't overlook thrifting as a way to expand my wardrobe in an accessible way. Watching her find all these cool trinkets and clothing at thrift stores in her haul videos has really inspired me to explore that scene myself. I know it's such a small thing, and maybe it's an obvious solution to some of you, but it's really helped me in the long run to save money and have a better style. So see this little video today as a tribute and thank you for giving me content that I love, as well as inadvertently inspiring me to solve an issue I've had pretty much all my life. Hey y'all, my name is Biscuit and welcome to my channel, Binky and Biscuit. New video, new project. So what's on the agenda for today? Well, as I mentioned, this video is going to be a little tribute to a fellow content creator I look up to. Specifically, I'm going to be making a project for lifestyle and crochet YouTuber Michelle Jasek. I discovered her channel about a year ago and she made her Animal Crossing New Horizons sweater, and since then I've binged pretty much all her content from there. I'm a little obsessed. Thrift hauls, antique shopping, crocheting, miscellaneous sewing and crafting, the works. I really do enjoy her videos, but I appreciate her crochet work specifically. I mean, duh, I'm a crocheter, come on now. She makes these beautiful tapestry projects and never fail to blow me away with their charm. She also makes a lot of adorable clothing like sweaters and vests. I've tried many times to make myself crochet clothes to no avail. I don't think it's a lack of skill on my end, just a complete lack of patience, I think. So seeing someone else make such beautiful sweaters so consistently is really inspiring to me. I've also tried tapestry, which is actually just a skill issue on my part. That just does not work with me. I don't know why. If I had to choose my favorite work from her, it would definitely be her Haunted House Halloween sweater because of the impressive tapestry work, and also the chaotic goose bag because look at him. Look at his face. He's so silly. I adore it. Now that you've gotten a fuller picture of Michelle and how I feel about her work, let's get on to the point of the video today. I'm going to be making her a little doll of herself, mostly just for fun. I got this idea randomly when I saw this yarn online and thought to myself, I feel like I know someone who would make a sweater with these colors. Wait a minute, so here we are. With my plan set, let's get on to making concept art. Unlike my previous work, I'm making a real person into a doll now, so I'm approaching this a bit differently than I would with my other projects. What that entails is that real people don't typically stay the same like fictional characters, obviously, so this doll will never be a real one-to-one. What I'm trying to do here is observe her key features and design them into a character. What stands out about Michelle and is recognizable and simplified is the way she commonly styles her hair, the types of clothes she wears, and the colors she likes, so I did my best to incorporate those aspects of her into my concepts. It took a few pages of sketching for me to feel like I captured her look at least semi-accurately. I was toying around with how I wanted to draw her eyes and bangs for a bit, but in the end I think I got something that stuck. Her bangs especially are kind of iconic to her aesthetic, so I had to get them to look right. I use some watercolors to map out the colors I want to use. Then later I go in with some white acrylic paint to fix up the mistakes I made on the doll scale sketch. I felt it looked a little messy at this point. In the end, it's pretty hard for me to capture the look of real people into my style, but I think I did an okay job with Michelle here. It will work well enough for a reference at least, and a representation of the colors I'll need. Speaking of, let's take a look at the materials I'll be using. In my previous two videos, I mainly used basic stitch yarn, which I absolutely adore still, don't get me wrong, but I couldn't find the correct colors I wanted in what Lion's brand has available, so I'm going to be using a mix of different yarns for this project. As a tribute, it makes sense if I use materials the person I'm dedicating this project to uses. So the main materials I'll be using is Amigo XL and Tea Time from Hobie, and Loops and Threads Impeccable Solid from Michaels. Michelle has done a lot of collaborations with Hobie, as well as made various sweaters from Impeccable Solids, so I felt they were very fitting choices. I will however be using Yarn Bee Soft and Sleek yarn from Hobby Lobby as a substitute for my usual basic stitch. Soft and Sleek is probably my second favorite yarn ever, so whatever colors I don't have in basic stitch, I usually have in that. For specifics on what I'm using, I will have a page linked in the description that will go into exactly what colors I chose for what. Here's a final view of what the palette is looking like. Also, before I start, I just wanted to ramble a little bit and go off my script just to say Merry Christmas to everyone who celebrates, and also Happy Holidays and Happy New Year. I know this video is coming out around Christmas, I'm not sure exactly when, but I guess this project kind of serves as a Christmas gift to Michelle, huh? Even though outside of YouTube I work retail, I still do love Christmas. I just love giving people stuff, to be honest. I mean, I'm sure you could tell with my previous two videos being about giving gifts to my friends. But regardless, with everything planned, let's get on to the doll. I start as I always do with her feet nubs. Someday I'll make an actual foot on these dolls, I swear. I start with black because I want her leggings to be tucked into her shoes. Funnily enough, when I started this project, I was crocheting so much for a commission I had and Christmas gifts in general, the skin of my right pointer finger was completely raw at this point. So if you see a cut on it, don't worry, I'm okay. I'll take a break after the holidays, I swear. Regardless, with the nub done, I can continue up the leg to form the tube. After I reached 26 row of stitches, I insert an armature pipe cleaner to make it more sturdy and a little bit posable later on. Then I cram some stuffing down there to flesh out the form. The best tool I find for this job is actually a random ballpoint pen, weirdly enough. The blunt end does a good job of pushing stuffing down, and the shripper cap pushes it in when it sticks out of the holes from the crochet. Just figured I'd mention it for others. When the leg is all stuffed, I secure the pipe cleaner that pokes out of the bottom with some beacon felt glue. This part is meant to anchor the nub into the shoe later on, so it's really important it ain't going anywhere. Then I make another leg off screen. After that, I'm able to attach the legs and form her pelvic area. I twist in more pipe cleaners to strengthen the base. I have also extended it so it can support the incoming torso. I stitched the gap closed between her legs and then I keep going up. I then switch to her skin tone at some point. Because of how dark the legging colors are, you're going to see me picking at it throughout the footage. That's because dark colors are a magnet for pet fur, especially white fur. Thanks, Viola! After the torso is formed, I stuff it generously and secure a wooden chopstick into place for further support. While the glue I put down dries, I form her arms. They're a fairly simple piece, mostly just a tube with some increases and decreases here and there to form it. I added a wooden bead in the hand to help it keep its shape. After I made the second arm, I made another armature to fit into them both. I've been using a jewelry wire for this step to make the arms stronger, but sadly I ran out, so I'll be using an extra pipe cleaner as a substitute. When the armature is made, I fit them into the arms. Then I secure it to the body with some stitches. The limbs and torso are in place so that leaves one piece left for the base, and that is her head. This part is very simple since it's just a giant sphere I stuff and sew down. Since there isn't really much to talk about here, I figured I'd put this here now. I'm just kind of rambling and not really going off a script, so hopefully this goes well. I just wanted to thank everyone for watching all my videos recently. At this point I've uploaded 2, and they both have performed very well. The amount of views I've been getting is very nice, and I appreciate it a lot. I appreciate every single one of you, actually. I just wanted to say thank you for making my dreams come true, one by one. Anyway, back to the doll. With the base done, I can finally get to more exciting parts, customizing the doll to make it look like Michelle. Adding some facial features to our blank canvas is a good way to start. I map out the eyes since they will be the most attention-grabbing detail on the base. I block in a little nose and mouth afterwards. At this stage, she looks kind of blank, so I start detailing the eyes. I went kind of crazy with this step, not gonna lie. Doing way more than I usually do for these dolls. I wasn't really sure if I liked it at this point, but I pushed on regardless, adding more details until it resembled slightly what I was envisioning. Adding some colors, pupils, and eye shines really helps bring more life into them. At the end, I sew in some tiny eyebrows that get covered up later anyway, and mush around and pull on the threads until the shapes look right. That left me with this, which I still feel unsure of at this point. Let's give her some more accessories and see if it grows on me. I'll first do her clothes this time since her hair may be in the way if I start with that. I begin at her skirt, which is a pretty simple piece. I make a chain large enough to go around her waist and then double crochet off of it for one row. Then I single crochet down, adding some lines of increases to give the skirt a little ruffle. I secure it to the body by first sewing the little V in the back shut. This V is only necessary to have there to help get the skirt over the hips. Once it's done, I sew it in place with some vertical stitches, attaching directly to the torso. I know it's kind of unsightly, but it doesn't really matter since her sweater will be covering this area in the end. I give the yarn a good brushing with a lint brush and some final touching up before calling it done. Now it's time for the main attraction, the sweater! God, I can't express how excited I am to use this yarn. It's so pretty, and I've been planning this project for months, so it's just been sitting on my shelf, taunting me day by day. But now it's time, my friends. No more waiting. I start by doing a chain of about, let's say 24 or so, then double crocheting off of it. I continue with singles and leave holes for the arms to go through. Then I continue with the torso piece, doing increases sometimes so the top will actually fit the body. I think in the end I accidentally made it a little too wide, but I think I can balance it out with some puffy sleeves. I've done that in the past. I do double crochets at the bottom to sell the illusion of ribbing on the sweater. Will say, this yarn crocheted like a dream and I love the feeling of it. It's very soft, especially compared to the Hobby Amigo yarn, which already feels pretty nice. Huge fan of this cake here, I gotta say. I do something similar for the sleeve, where I just crochet a long tube with some double crochets at the bottom for a cuff. I sew it to the torso piece and attach another one off screen. And here is her sweater! I'm really happy with how it came out, but I'm kind of disappointed I used so little of the yarn. It was so nice, and yet it went by so quick. I'll probably give the rest to Michelle when I send the doll to her PO box. She'll probably find more use in it than I would. Also, with some clothes on the body, I think it's safe to say the face has grown on me at this point. It looks more and more like her with each detail I add, but there's one problem. She's still bald. With the next part, I know it'll really sell the look, so unfortunately for me, no more procrastinating. I'll have to do the actual doll's hair. I've talked about my beef with making doll hair before. Mostly it's just that it takes so long to do. But the style I'm doing for Michelle's hair is really cute and fluffy, so maybe with a good end in sight it will motivate me. I break the hair into making two central parts. I begin with her sides and back. I make a chain that will serve as the part in her hair when folded in half. And then I crochet strands off from that. I will make the front strands a little bit longer for the sake of being able to style it on her shoulders comfortably. But while I do the chains here, I have a quick story for you. When I originally bought the yarn for this project, I was having a hard time deciding which color I should use to make her hair. Her hair is an in-between but blonde and brown usually, and I didn't really know how to capture that well with the yarn. I thought a light brown would work well, and I bought one from Hobby, but the color was too yellow for what I was looking for. I think I bought every brown Amigo XL had to offer, and not a single one matched what I was looking for. So now I'm freaking out. I spent all this time looking for the correct color to no avail, but behold, I look in the back of my bookcase, I keep my yarn to grab a white, just to find the perfect brown I was looking for right next to it. I had it the entire freaking time. I ended up donating the extra browns I purchased to a local Crochet for Charity club because I probably wasn't going to use it for a good while. So at least in the end it really wasn't a waste of money. Regardless, I learned my lesson to check my stock before I go crazy buying more yarn I don't need. When I finished her back hair, I took a quick detour and decided it was probably a good idea to attach her ears first. After that, I realized I should also blush the doll before I make the hair permanent and style it. There's no reason to get the yarn for her hair covered in the sealant after all. So I went ahead and blushed the doll with chalk pastel on a brush, making sure to rub the pigment all up in the yarn. I tried to make her cheeks look like she was wearing her pink hue of blush, but also incorporated the orange from her sweater into the skin. From that point, I added a protective coat or two of hairspray. Overall, I'm super happy with how the blush came out, so we can switch back to her hair. Just wanted to say, I really locked in and got the main hair strands done in like 3 hours or so shout out me, I guess. Maybe I'm being dramatic about the hair being difficult, who knows. Anyway, I go straight to sewing the piece in half and sewing it to the head to form her part. I then place stitches around the doll to style the hair and make it stay in a permanent look. From here, I add her bangs and touch up any details I feel I'm missing. I styled it in a way that made her front hairs rest on her shoulders while the back just lays like normal. I went off this picture since I felt this hairstyle is her most iconic look. She changes it a lot, but this is what I tried to recreate. With that said, I think I did a decent job. It was kind of chaotic getting all the hair to sit the way I wanted it to, but it's done now at least. We aren't finished yet though. We still have one thing to make. Time to cover her footsies! At the start, I drew Michelle with white sneakers in the concept art, but at this point I was debating if I wanted to keep them. Michelle's content, we usually see half-body shots, and it's pretty uncommon to see what kind of shoes she wears. So I reached out to Michelle herself to ask her what kind of footwear she likes, and what I should put on the doll. She said she only really wears her white Vans, so I guess white sneakers it is then. I began with a white oblong disc for the sole of the sneaker. Then I glued down some packaging to make the sole flatter. I was having trouble with my Fabri-Tac that day and couldn't get the glue to stick at all. I use this glue all the time. What gives? Regardless, I stuck the magnet on the way down the feet. I put a heavy object on top until it dries to keep it from coming undone again. While I wait, I make another disc. When the glue on bolts is hardened, I begin building up the sides of the shoe with a gray stripe and white for the rest. I make the sneaker's tongue out of gray yarn as if I was making a tiny blanket with double crochets. I attach the shoe using many rounds of stitches with the white yarn. For a final touch, I use the same white yarn to add some little laces. I use the felt glue on the knot and on the back of the tongue to ensure they don't come undone. With that, all there is to do is to put on the other shoe and wait for the glue to dry. We're done here, and on to the reveal of the final results. Generally speaking, I'm really happy with how she came out. I think little Michelle came out really cute looking. I really like her face, namely the way I did the blush and the way I detailed the eyes. Originally, I wasn't entirely sure if I liked that part at all, but I think it really grew on me. As for what I would do different, there's a lot of little details here and there I wish I did better. Even though I really like the face and the hair together, I wish I had the foresight to move down the face more so her bangs wouldn't cover the eyebrows. I also wish I made the sweater a bit longer because it barely covers her tummy. Michelle usually makes her clothing slightly cropped, so I tried to mimic that, but I don't think it came across all that good. Oh well. I think everything else on her looks great. I just wish I didn't mess up at such important parts of the project. Regardless, I think Michelle will love it at least. What about that? I know some of you may be expecting her reaction in this video, given I've done that for other people I've made gifts for in the past. But that's because I knew those people personally, whereas Michelle is someone I've only spoken to briefly for the purposes of this video, so it felt strange to ask her. I really am just genuinely a fan of her work, and I think it would make anyone uncomfortable if a stranger just waltzed up to them and asked for their reaction on something. I am, however, sending this doll to her P.O. box, which I have mentioned. So if she does address the doll in one of her videos or records her reaction or anything, I'll be sure to link it in the description. But I can't guarantee that. Thank you for understanding, but an even bigger thank you for watching. I feel like I got a better grip of this whole YouTube thing with each video I make, though obviously I'm no professional. So if anyone has any suggestions or critique on what I could do better, feel free to leave a comment. And if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe to see more. Thank you again, and I hope you enjoyed the doll of Michelle. Bye bye now!